Do you have any indication about where David is right now?
Guys was going past his one cell. He ain't to go open it yet. I'll throw the cups boo-boo in there on him.
David's life inside prison has taken a sudden turn after new evidence presented in court revealed the full truth. One reaction said, "Just want to wish David luck going back to his cell block after this hearing, because once other inmates hear all this, it's not going to end well for him." It was also revealed in court that David bought supplies through Amazon and Postmates in an attempt to conceal Celeste. He is accused of removing Celeste's left ring and pinky fingers because they had a tattoo of his name. Those fingers were never recovered. The singer allegedly used the fake name Victoria Mendes to order 2 chainsaws, a bag, heavy-duty laundry bags, and a blue inflatable pool from Amazon, along with a shovel from Home Depot through Postmates. Records show that his final Amazon purchase was also made under the same alias. Additionally, it was stated in court that he had acquired an incinerator months earlier as part of a plan to destroy evidence. This helps answer questions investigators had when the case was first being examined.
I've been wondering just what it was this private investigator named Steve Fisher found inside David's home when he was given access last October. The PI reported seeing, quote, items you would expect to find on a farm rather than in a home in the Hollywood Hills. And today, we are learning about one of those items.
David planned to use it to burn all the tools he had used while trying to hide Celeste. Details revealed, a private investigator confirmed that an incinerator capable of reaching temperatures up to 1600 degrees was discovered inside David's home. The type of incinerator he bought is typically used on farms and is illegal for any LA resident to own without a permit or registered farm, meaning he likely had to fake a farm ID just to get it delivered. It was also shared in court that David seemed to have anticipated all of this, as investigators uncovered statements from a live stream where he described how he wanted his story to end.
Their surgery will probably give me mental problems. I already got them. Give me more. I'm trying to get electric. I think that's the best way to go out. Electric chair.
With all of this revealed in court, David was classified as a higher risk inmate, meaning he must now be kept under stricter security. Reports state that he is currently being held in a segregated single cell, escorted to the shower every other day, and only allowed to make phone calls on those same days. He gets limited outdoor time each week, has no access to a TV, cannot receive visitors, and reportedly has no money in his account. One law enforcement source even described the facility as dirty, foul-smelling, and chaotic, conditions that are unlikely to suit David. According to his arrest details, he stands at 5'5" and weighs around 125 pounds, making him physically vulnerable in one of the toughest jails in the United States, where inmates are often targeted based on their charges. This environment is the complete opposite of the luxury lifestyle he was once used to. On top of that, David is also expected to struggle with the food. Jail records show that inmates are typically served meals like macaroni with beef, an apple, milk, and a peanut butter granola bar for dessert, hardly enough to help him build strength or protect himself. Reports also confirm that he has been transferred to the Men's Central Jail in LA County. Because he is a public figure, he has been placed in solitary confinement, but many believe that won't guarantee his safety. One viral comment pointed out that even in solitary, he will still have limited recreation time, where other inmates could approach him because of his charges, making it nearly impossible to stay completely safe. A former inmate who served time in the same facility explained that while David may remain inside his cell most of the time, other inmates will still pass by, increasing the risk of confrontation.
Our offenders and treated in prison. Yeah, treated cold. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't even think nothing about that. I just know that it was like every 15 to 20 minutes that went past, guys was going past this one cell. And it'd be like, there's 3 of them. One of them would grab the cell door and then like, be on this side like this, and then the other 2 would be on this side. So the one, and they did this like every 20 to 30 minutes, every like clockwork. And this one would yank the door open, and the other 2 on this side had cups full of and boo-boo. So he ain't to go open it, just throw the cups of boo-boo in there and then go close the door, lock it on. You know, so that was crazy, but and then some was getting jumped on, some was getting slapped and extorted, some was getting having to do favor.
In case you're not familiar, once someone enters a cell block, the system works in a way where their paperwork and charges quickly get passed from one cell to another to determine whether they'll be accepted or not. Now the question is, after hearing everything, would anyone actually welcome David? His official charges reportedly state that the crime involved the use of a sharp object, According to prosecutors, the accusations against David include one charge of murder for financial gain, another to prevent testimony, one for lying in wait, the use of a weapon, and additional charges related to what he allegedly did to Celeste afterward, as highlighted by Jesse Weber of Law and Crime.
First of all, we suspected that David would be charged with after that was what he was arrested for, and in other court documents that came out a couple months ago, we know that he was being investigated for murder. But first-degree murder with special circumstances, lying in wait to murdering a witness as part of an investigation, murdering for financial gain, and now facing the possibility of the death penalty, even though it's my understanding there is a moratorium in California. That is a huge deal.
The most troubling part for David is that there is almost no way out of this situation, as the evidence against him already strongly supports the case. Authorities have revealed new findings connected to Celeste, showing that she had told David she was going to report him to the police just days before her death, with text messages backing up that claim.
They're saying that the Celeste girl, maybe she was already talking to the cops, like, yeah, this creep is, he on me. Now, granted, who knows if David was trying to leave her or whatever the case is, but look like she would also try to threaten David with that, to say, yo, I'm about to go tell on yo, right? Which already he should have knew that he's doing something wrong. Well, I mean, he should have knew of GP, like, she's ping gang. But she would, allegedly, according to this complaint, she had threatened that, I could ruin your music career or something like that.
This is more than enough to have David dealt with inside jail, making his family extremely nervous. After he was denied bail, his family said they were disappointed but not surprised by the district attorney's decision, and that they still stand by him completely. David's reaction in court stood out the most, especially as he now faces the possibility of spending the rest of his life in prison. Reports say that while the judge read the charges, the singer appeared shocked, mouth open as if stunned or reacting in disbelief. The moment intensified when the judge mentioned potential sentencing, surprising many in the courtroom. His lawyers then spoke, stating, "We believe the evidence will show David Berg did not commit this crime and was not responsible for her death." They requested a preliminary hearing within the required time frame to review all evidence as soon as possible. Despite this, David appeared nervous during the not guilty plea entered by his defense. Observers noted his eyes darting around the courtroom. His attorneys are now pushing for a full preliminary hearing, including grand jury transcripts, with the next hearing set for April 23rd. At the end of the hearing, investigators addressed a key question: why did David's arrest take so long? They revealed federal authorities had been wiretapping his devices, collecting evidence over time. Investigators also examined people close to him and secured witness cooperation regarding his relationship with Celeste, strengthening the case before trial. One key figure is his alleged secret partner, Neo Langston. Neo posted online, "Thankfully, I'm legally fine in every way, and I have proof of everything." Old photos and clips reportedly show David and Neo together in close moments, including recreating the Titanic pose and spending time in private settings, adding another layer to the case.
You know who that person is, and do you believe that is the person that moved the Tesla?
So I definitely know who moved that Tesla in that late July before the event tour. I can't say who the person. I don't know who exactly was in that house, because they report that there's video, but you can't make a person out. Somebody was in the house, and being that there's only one key, it's like, okay, who had access to the house? So the same person that moved the Tesla was another last part of the plan about to go in motion as far as being
It was very important for the feds to get Neo on their side for one specific reason, tied to what was discovered on David's iCloud account. An investigator stated, "The prosecutor said there are around 40 terabytes of discovery in this case, and it will take time to turn it over to the defense. This means there are over 40 terabytes of files connected to the investigation, including messages between David and Celeste, David and Neo, and records detailing his alleged actions after the incident." Some of this material was also reportedly leaked online. One of the key pieces of evidence was a video found on David's iCloud that appeared to be a confession. Investigators pointed out a picture frame visible behind him that matched one from his private rental home where Celeste had stayed. Metadata from the video also confirmed the recording date, further linking it to the timeline of events.
Hey guys, I know I haven't posted on this account in a little minute, but I just had some words to share with you for 2025. Despite all the craziness that's going on, all the turmoil, the natural disasters, and things like that, this year I just wanted to tell you guys not to be discouraged and not to lose hope and not to turn your face from God in these times of evil. And it seems like it's the most insane start to a year that I've ever seen. But God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and a sound mind. So keep that sound mind, 2025. Stay prayed up.
In the video, David casually mentioned several losses he had been dealing with in his life. Investigators reviewed this closely and noted in the evidence file that there were no close family members or friends who had passed away around the time the video was recorded, suggesting he may have been indirectly referring to Celeste. However, authorities already had detailed information about David and Celeste's relationship leading up to the incident. They even pointed to a moment where David reportedly soft-launched the relationship to his fans during a live stream, further establishing their connection before the crime took place.
Yo, wait.
Oh, look at it. Answer that one. That's so mean if you don't answer that.
Which one? What's the David Beckham's family? Bro, thank you. Mitchell.
I gotta sound with him if you even. We need to delete this.
Are we, Maz, can we delete all vibes? And the stream too?
A note in the evidence file also pointed out that the sweater Celeste wore during a Twitch live stream was later found inside David's secret rental home, further suggesting she had likely been staying there. Things became even more unusual when investigators reviewed David's iPhone and found a photo of Celeste wearing a designer-style ripped hoodie. This didn't match the one seen in the live stream. Online posts also highlighted the same hoodie appearing on the floor in a selfie taken inside David's bedroom, raising questions about shared living space or shared belongings. Investigators also discovered that David and Celeste had reportedly shared the same Halloween costume. An online update claimed that a photo surfaced showing David wearing a wig similar to Celeste at an anime convention. Since anime was a major part of David's interest, the situation drew more attention, especially as he had previously expressed wanting to live like an anime character. It was also noted that David described having an alter ego, who imagines himself as an anime-style character acting out extreme scenarios, which investigators referenced as part of understanding his mindset during the period in question.
Basically an agent of chaos and kind of my alter ego, and the story of the manga went like I was a detective and there was an evil version of myself that would kind of come out at random moments, kind of like Fight Club with Tyler Durden. And he would commit the crimes that I would have to solve as the detective. So like when I was as the detective, I'd be like solving that I'm committing myself. And it was like a cool little story. I didn't think anything would come of it. Like it was in the...
There are hundreds of crimes he could have used as an example when describing his alter ego, yet he chose that one specifically. Many are pointing out how obvious everything now seems. I can't be the only one seeing how clear this all is, right? But this also became David's major problem. Everything he did appeared unusually open and easy to trace. Even when he attempted to move money and assets while under investigation, it only raised more suspicion. Reports claim that after hiring a new legal team, he began transferring assets out of his name, which investigators interpreted as preparation for an impending arrest. Sources say these actions were later brought up in court, with legal experts explaining what those transfers could indicate in the context of an active investigation.
You know, transferring these assets in the middle of an investigation, as opposed to 2 years ago or a year ago.
Right.
Could a court look at this and say, this was a deliberate attempt to, what you say, concealing assets, and they could breach it, they could pierce it, say, even though that you've transferred this into your mother's name, that was invalid. This is a way for, let's say, a plaintiff who sues him, or let's say in a criminal judgment to pay that fine. Can a court look at that and say, even though you transferred it, it's still open season on those properties?
Well, this is what's so puzzling about this. It is a very basic premise of law throughout the country that you can't transfer assets after the event happens that would otherwise trigger collecting on those assets. So we have rules in different states. Sometimes they're called fraudulent transfers, sometimes they're called fraudulent conveyances. There's a lot of different names for him. The crux of it is you cannot transfer assets.
Another unusual detail investigators pointed to was David retrieving the Tesla that Celeste had been in around 48 hours before the vehicle was scheduled to be set to auction due to being unclaimed at the impound lot. David reportedly arranged for someone else to pick it up on his behalf. The move raised questions about his intentions, with some suggesting he wanted to retain the car for unknown reasons, while others speculated it may have held personal significance to him.
Let me read you what Steve recently posted on X, okay? David's Tesla, the vehicle in which Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found, was held by LAPD for only 48 hours to process evidence. After that, it was returned to the impound lot for David to retrieve, which he had not done until today. The Tesla was scheduled to go to auction tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., and I had planned to attend and inspect it. However, in the final hours before auction, David, or someone with power of attorney acting on his behalf, picked it up. When I checked last week, the storage fees were approximately $10,500, as the vehicle had been released and available for pickup since September 10th, before Celeste had been identified. I hope just the thought of that vehicle haunts David and anyone else that knew Celeste was in the trunk for the rest of their lives.